Titov joins me now. He's a lecturer in modern European history at Queen's University Belfast in the UK. Many thanks for joining us, Alexander. Do you think this move effectively rules him out as a candidate?
Yes, I think so. I think there's very little he can do now. I mean, within the Russian legal system, he can appeal, but the courts are essentially controlled by the presidential administration. The decision has been made in the Kremlin of not allowing Navalny to participate in 2018 elections, and I think that's basically it for so far as his campaign is concerned.
How do you think the Kremlin has handled this entire situation? Because shouldn't they be slightly wary of turning him into a martyr, perhaps?
Well, I think they made a calculation that he's not important enough for them to be concerned. In terms of turning him into a martyr, I mean, they give him a suspended sentence, so he still stays out of the prison. I mean, putting him in prison would turn him into a proper martyr, whereas now it's they went for a soft approach, ruling him out of the elections, but at the same time he stays out of prison and can go about his business as necessary. So basically they made it kind of the best of the world so far as they're concerned. He's not in prison, he's not in the presidential elections either.
What are Navalny's options now? I mean, can he appeal the verdict? And even if he did appeal the verdict, how impartial are the courts?
Well, I think the courts in Russia are controlled by the presidential administration. It's a political decision has been made, and the courts will enforce it. I mean, you just look at how this particular court has been run. It's all been run according to a script from the Kremlin in terms of the timing, in terms of the verdict, and so forth. However, the Navalny's point is to build up his opposition credentials, and that certainly helps him to build his credentials among people who support him. But not beyond that. There was a point in September last year when there was a new head of presidential administration. Deputy head came in round, Sergei Kiriyenko, who was seen as a liberal. So there were some hopes for liberalization of the Russian political regime, but this sentence, I think, shows that they will stick with a very kind of tight approach to Russian elections, and they will manage everything they can, the Putin's team.
Alexander, what is the mood of the people, of the middle classes, towards this kind of behavior of the government? Some would see it as the silencing of opposition figures. How do people view generally this kind of move by the government?
Yeah, I think the Navalny's peak has passed in terms of his kind of popular mobilization support into 2011, 2013. But the Kremlin has a problem with the urban middle classes, particularly in Moscow and St. Petersburg and other large cities, who have opposed to it. So, but at some point, I think in 2012, with the cycle of protests 2011, 2012, Kremlin essentially gave up on the middle class, urban middle class, opposition-minded, winning them over. They reduced the street protest, which was the most important thing for them, and decided to manage the rest within the existing system. So it is not worrying, but it's not particularly dangerous right now so far. But it all depends on the economic situation and how well they can contain the population in general. It's a combination of the middle class is also joined by other people protests around the country. That's where the real danger will become. But by themselves, the urban opposition-minded middle classes are not dangerous at this stage to the regime.
Alexander, good to get your thoughts. Alexander Titov there from Queen's University Belfast in the UK.